Welcome back to another live edition of the Cross Border Interviews. Yes, we are back 24 hours later because we just could not get enough of you. We are pleased to have on the show once again the always incredible, always gracious to spend time with me late at night, Miss Sara Biggs. Sara, thank you so much for doing this. This is an honor and a pleasure as always.
Thanks for having me again.
So, Sara, I'm just getting a little bit of a feedback right now, so I'm just gonna
Oh,
close things down. I do
okay.
apologize. I don't know what's going on right now.
The
This
joys
is
of life.
the joys. Oh, that's there we go. I do apologize for anyone who's listening to that, and then I just had the random pause there. But Sara, you were with us last night for the debate. You got back down to Calgary to do this with us, so thank you. I want to start off. We'll probably talk a little bit about the leadership debate later on, but I want to start off with one of the biggest news that's kind of close to us, you and me, as the I want to make sure I got this right, so I asked Sara beforehand. The assigned lobbyist to Bill 17. Sara, this got passed this week. Take us through what this bill is and take us through what this bill means for Albertans.
So, just a little bit of backstory. So, how I got to know DT is through my OBGYN, Dr. Cooper. We stayed in contact after via Twitter and all that. And she was like, you know what? I need to introduce you to that organization. Like, they need your help. I was like, okay. So I met with a DT in November last year, and we talked and saw what was happening. They were working on previously bill private member bill 220, which was bereavement leave for individual experiencing loss. But unfortunately, with the house the sitting being adjourned and all that in December, the bill died. So we came in, so we established a strategy behind it, and we came in and we're like, okay, we're going to re-meet with the stakeholders in the government. We're going to really be pushing. So first we were pushing for the bill to come back as a government bill because it is easier to get done. And then we pushed our luck and we tried to get it in the throne speech, which happened, which was huge. And then after that, when was it? 3 weeks ago, there was an announcement about Bill 17.
And for
Um,
those who don't know, that was with Kenny, Labor Minister Casey
Madu
Maddow. It,
and UT Loveridge.
yeah, so the big names were out for this bill.
Yeah. The big name. So, funny story. When I got there, we were told that Emily Walker would be there. So I wrote the speech because I write DT speeches, and I walked in. And I was like, "Who's here?" They're like, "Oh, Minister Madu." I was like, "One, two, three bodyguards." I was like, "Who else is here?" And we're like, "Well, the premier's gonna be here." I was like, "Okay, please find me a room. I need to change the speech like now." And I was like half hour before the whole thing was starting. So we worked the speech and everything went fine. And then they asked us to speak about this bill, but without saying the language. So we were extremely careful on um, how we crafted a DT speech, and we're like putting a lot of provisions and putting our hopes, and you know we tried to set expectations before the bill was introduced. So the press conference was at noon. The bill was introduced at 3, so it was embargoed. So basically, we're not allowed. The press conference happened, but it was going to be released later, and it was embargoed. So we were not allowed to talk about it. And then it came out. It was for individuals dealing with miscarriage or stillbirth. So the government was like, yes, the language includes like kind of in point D. It includes people dealing with abortions and all that. And that was said during the press conference. So we looked at the language. We're like, whoa, no. So we right away we started asking for meetings with chief of staff, with Susie. She was amazing. And then we did our suggestions and we pushed really, really, really hard and really tried to make them understand why this was so important. And then we know that a lot of members in the UCP caucus are pro-life, they are not pro-choice. So we knew that it was extremely risky, but we decided to propose a language that would be inclusive and wouldn't lit hair on fire. So, abortion is almost the one that shall not be named in the bill, because we need to remember that abortion is not law of the land in the
Yeah.
country. It is criminalized, but there is no law saying that abortion is legal in Canada and shall be performed. So we're dealing with, conscious rights with doctors and pharmacists and, and what happened is that last week, everything kind of got so intense with the leak about Roe v. Wade that we just really tried to push as much as we could. So there was an amendment that was presented on Tuesday that was taking our language in consideration. A lot of people in the House, they went back and forth, and there was a little bit of political football. It has to be expected because at the end of the day, we are dealing with political parties and politicians.
And you're within that year period of an election. Because you have to remember,
Exactly.
2023, we are going to be in an election here in Alberta. So everything that's
Yeah.
done provincially.
So one thing that is good when you're working on bills like this and you see the opposition really, taking that bill on and really trying to get it done. What I would say one of my advantage, if you want, is that I'm extremely amicable with both sides of the aisles. I have I have good relationships with both sides. So, we manage, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the background, but at the end of the day, last night at 4:30ish, it was voted in favor unanimously with the amendment in it. No one opposed the bill.
Well, first off, congratulations! It's a big thing to get a bill passed like this, and being the
Yeah.
assigned lobbyist, it's
Well, I
probably
signed lobbyist because it's
yeah.
I'm lobbyist because the non-for-profit decided that they were going
Yeah.
to hire
And the
me.
not for profit is what?
The Pregnancy and Infant Loss Support Center. They
Which,
do fantastic work.
for those who are listening
It,
to this right now or at a later date,
yeah.
next week, next Wednesday, we will be having the CEO of that organization on this show. We're going to be sitting down talking about this bill. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm so happy that we're able to have the CEO on and just have that conversation about what this means.
She's amazing.
I,
I love it. She's been so great to work with, and I for individuals who are not used to deal with politics or do not necessarily understand how the ground game is played, you're really holding their hand throughout the whole process, and you really try to get them reassured and give them the reassurance that they need, because sometimes we're like, we don't know if they're going to take the amendment, we don't know if they're going to take our suggestions because it's so contentious, right? But it's taking phone calls and saying, no, everything's going to be fine, leave it to me, like it's going to be okay.
so when did you find out? Did you find out like everyone else found out as it was happening, or did you get any
Yeah,
pre-warning?
so I was at the leaders circle cocktail reception at the conservative.
How bad of a tension room was that after that?
That was fine. I ran into a few MLAs. A few MLAs were they knew who I was. They were extremely happy for us. Um, there were a couple ministers that were a little bit more non very communicative, if we could put it that way. But at the end of the day, is that women's health is so complicated, and that's how we came up with when we tried to explain there's a lot of marginalization. It can be extremely uncomfortable to discuss with your employer what is happening. It could be work discrimination because of, different religious beliefs or personal beliefs. It's so complicated.
So
So like a loss is more than a miscarriage and stillbirth. It could be infertility. It could be a missed adoption. It could be a surrogacy, a surrogate that goes through a miscarriage or an ectopic pregnancy. And we're trying to be as inclusive as possible. And that was our goal.
I'm gonna ask a tough question, but I think you're up for it because I feel like you're always up for the tough questions, Sarah.
Yeah.
This is remarkable at how fast you went from November private members of the bill to government bill, well, to speech from the throne to government members bill, to an amendment which includes, without using the word abortion in the bill, but still encapsulates that. I, does this have anything to do with what happened down in the States last week? Do you think it had anything to do? Because I saw Rachel Notley use what was happening down in the States against Jason Kenney during that first week, first few days. Do you think that has anything to do with it? Or do you, and I'm going to give the UCP some credit here. Do you think they
Yeah.
extended an
We need
olive
to,
branch?
so what happened is that we met for this amendment the week before Roe v. Wade exploded. So we met with them on a Wednesday or Thursday, and Roe v. Wade leaked last Monday night. And then the NDP started wanting to do their thing, started to pressure, and that's fine because abortion access in the province is not the most user friendly, or individuals living in remote communities have to travel to Edmonton or Calgary to get a procedure done. It's extremely difficult to have ease of access for those kind of procedures and care. And I think that it was a perfect storm of public pressure, opposition pressure, and the stakeholders really trying to try to get this done. And at the end of the day, we got to give credit to the UCP for that, and I want to thank them. And I might be getting some rocks, but if they really did not want it to get it done, they would have ignored our phone calls. But they took the time. They were communicating with us. We were sending emails. They were getting back to us. The communication was there, and I need to give them that. And there's a special someone within the UCP that I want to thank, but can't name the person, unfortunately. But it was a team effort.
I just want to make sure because I didn't do my knowledge because like literally like we said I've literally been going since last night after the debate,
Yeah.
but unanimous vote, not unanimous.
Unanimous.
So that must shock you a little bit because, like you said, there's social conservatives in that caucus,
Yeah.
but unanimous is still unanimous no matter how you try to sway it. So you must be.
We'll take the win. We'll take the win, especially with this government and how extremely vocal they can be on their personal beliefs. Hi, Dan Williams. Um, so
Well, but I give you credit as well, and I give the organization credit as well because I think you guys did
the
push.
organization. I came in like a little bit later in the game, but but I was involved a little bit later in the game. Like I said, in November, they were talking for a while, like August, September, October, but then we managed to sit down, really build a strategy and give them the confidence to, because I'm here to facilitate navigating the system, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes there's strategies going behind that type of lobbying, if you want. Sometimes they're going to be saying something, then your client call, you're like, no, don't worry, just ignore the noise, leave it to me, and just keep going. And it's really a teamwork. Aditi and I are making a really, really good team. Um, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be fighting in next
I was gonna say, what's the
conflict.
next battle? But
There's gonna be more coming, but
that's for next week. Let's just celebrate the victory this week and move on next week. Like I
yeah, we
said,
going to go for a patio soon.
there you
So
go. For those, just want to remind everyone, next Wednesday we will be talking with the CEO. So please tune in because it's going to be a great conversation. I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be an in depth conversation about their organization, but also what they do and how they help Calgarians, but also Albertans through this.
oh, and across the country. And that's the thing, like when I was because we're helping them on other aspects as well. And there's people across the country reaching out to them because there's so little organizations that do what they do, and they're inclusive. They're working with the trans community and the LGBTQ2S plus community, surrogates, infertile couples. They reach their array of service is so meaningful, and so it's extremely large. Like they take everyone. They will never say no because they don't believe that your kind of loss does not qualify. For them, every loss is a loss and should be treated as a loss. So that's what I really like about them. There's no judgment whatsoever.
I,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, but I want to move on to our next topic here, and it kind of was just breaking as we were about to go live today. So I'm not sure if you've had time to notice this, but Jason Kenney, Sonia Savage, and Jason Nixon will be down in front of the U.S. Senate this coming Tuesday, March 17th. The gang's getting back together with Joe Manchin, West Virginia Democratic senator, who was up here touring Fort McMurray, and they're going down to pitch Alberta's energy industry in front of the Senate. I'm not sure how many senators are going to be there, but they're going to speak in front of them. All three of them are going to be there. Day before,
I've known about it since Monday.
well, sorry, some of us did not know about it until an hour and a half ago, Sarah. We're not all in the know like some people. This is why we bring you on the show. You can bring us all the tidbits so we don't have to break the news while the mainstream media is doing it as well. But I want to ask. This is a day before the leadership review. Is this the appropriate thing to be doing while voters are voting for the potential leadership, or am I just reading too much into this? Like, I get what he's doing, right? I get that he's going down to the States. I'm not sure if you're crying happy tears or sad tears. So I'm just going to continue talking while.
It's confused here. So there's a department called Foreign Affairs
Shh.
that usually takes care of those things.
He doesn't.
But
he wasn't in charge of that. He doesn't know that. He was in charge of
well,
national defense.
yeah, well, he knows. But it's interesting. I feel like they're really trying to save Line 5 and Keystone once again. They're really trying to convince the American government that Keystone it's still a good idea. The issue that we're having right now is that we don't have a whole lot to export our goods, right? So it's a mix of Bill 69, which we're going to be talking soon. It's a mix of this government is really as increase their targets by 2030 to 40 or 45%, if I'm not mistaken. We are talking with a federal government is not necessarily pro oil, and like I get what they're trying to do, but I think the timing is a little off.
But at the same time, like the Senate does not go, "Hey, Jason Kenney, what day's your leadership review? We'll make sure we work around your schedule." They probably told Kenney's crew, "You're here or you're not going in front of them," right?
Yeah. Well, I have American clients, and it's their way or the highway, right?
Exactly.
But it's it's fine. I don't really It's just that at some point we're gonna have to understand that KXL is done, and
I've just lost my
that's
oil
it.
and gas industry supporters of the show. I'm joking. I'm
But
joking.
maybe, yeah, my husband's a production engineer and he's listening right now. But no, but we need to find a way to do it better, and we need to find a way. And that's the thing about, I represent an organization called Conservatives for Clean Growth. And, we're really try to cram into conservatives' mind that we do need to have a good environmental plan, um, good environmental platform for the next election, because if not, the conservatives won't be going back in power anytime soon. Um, so, I do understand what he's trying to do. Um, if it
I
can,
just want to. You mentioned line 5, and I want to talk about that for a few seconds here because if I'm pissed off that line 5 is about to get canceled, I'm not going in front of the Senate. I'm going to the governor of Michigan, aren't I? And
no, she won't talk to him anymore.
will they
They're not
not?
friends.
Are they not
Well,
friends?
he said she was brainless.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, this is how
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love
He
chatting with
didn't
you
have.
because you tell me all the you tell me all the good stuff that I should know.
Let's say that he would need to sharpen his foreign relation skills a little bit. No, he called the governor of Michigan brainless or something like that, and they got a little miffed. If you're trying to get something done, you need to play nice with everybody, right?
Even people
But
you disagree with.
you can agree to disagree with them, and that's the end of the day. Like at the end of the day, you're trying to get something done. Just don't be petty. Don't be petty. That's just like we're not grade 3. Like the other day, I was talking with my 10 years old, and I was talking about something that was happening in the government. She was like, "What? Are they in grade 3? Are there third graders?" I was like, they're acting like it sometimes, but it's fine. I'm not expecting anything out of it. It's got to be a little bit of a promotional
Well,
stint to say,
you seem to be a little bit more in the know with what's happening in conservative circles because you knew Jason Kenney was going to be down in the States a week and a half before I did. But I want to know because I think I read something and it could be wrong, but did Jason Kenney say he can't get meetings with high profile US politicians anymore? Or am I just dreaming that? I feel like someone said
he
that he
did say that. He did say that. Um, his I think his relationship with Mention is pretty good. Um, he can. What did he say? He can't even get the janitor to call him back or something like
yeah,
that.
that's what it was. I can't get like the custodian of the Secretary of State to call me back.
Well, Mr. Kenny's the premier of a province. He is not a official representative of the government of Canada, and that's why I'm saying he needs to open his foreign affairs theory books and dust them off a little bit and still see how protocol is. Because either you like it or not, there's a certain protocol that you need to follow. And premiers usually you don't see the premier of Quebec going down in the States and be like, ho ho ho, buy my hydroelectricity. Ho
But
ho. You
well,
know,
he might say it to the governor of Vermont. He's not saying it to the president of the Secretary of State. He's going to like the governors, right? The equivalents, because you're not going, "Hey, I'm the mayor of Brampton, Ontario. I'm going to go try and call Joe Biden right now." Probably would, Mr. Patrick Brown, but Joe Biden's not waiting for that call every at 2 o'clock in the morning. I can tell you that much for sure, right?
no, no, it's their strategy, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, I don't think we should be expecting huge progress on the file. But I'm suspecting that he's going down there to have a plea to be like, look how clean we are. Look how much better we are than Russia. Get our oil. I think this is going to be the flavor. Um,
You think you'd be
Uh-huh.
able to like plead to the Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm? God bless her, she's Canadian. She was born in Canada. She's former governor of Michigan. Maybe he'd be able to have a conversation with that guy, but just doesn't seem like he's in the circle. He might have been able to get
We-
more conversations with the Trump administration than he is with the Biden administration. Well, let's be honest, the Trump administration would take a call with anyone.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's. But see, with the Biden administration, what we need to remember that one of their first moves was to cancel KXL,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of public funds that have been invested in KXL, so I think that's his last ditch attempt to try to, get something done. Or since the oil prices are extremely high, and what we're having an issue right now is exporting NGLs. We have
Yeah.
very little capacity to export NGLs. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything's going to play. But do I have expectations?
No.
Do I think he's going to fail? Not necessarily. I think it could be a performative move, really, to try to get back into, trying to get back and reestablish a strategy for the energy. Because let's not forget that we are going into an election year.
Yeah.
So he's going to be trying everything, and
Well, we might be
he's
going
going
to a
to,
leadership election year first.
there's that.
But I want to
There's that.
talk about getting our natural resources to market. Bill 69 or C-69 was put in
Mhm.
front of the Alberta Superior Court, and an opinion piece came down early this week, which was a 4-1 split. Four people thought it was unconstitutional. Four judges thought it was Superior Court judges thought it was unconstitutional. One did not. Jason Kenney began the victory lap of we won against Justin Trudeau, just like he did for the carbon tax. And literally at the exact same moment, Justin Trudeau rose in the House of Commons and said, we're going to appeal it to the Supreme Court, which
Yeah.
Kenney basically looked like he had got hit by a truck.
5 trucks.
Yeah. I know that Justin Trudeau and Jason Kenney hate each other. I'm pretty sure there's no love lost between the two of them. Is
Mm,
Jason Kenney throwing money after good money after bad things by trying to appeal all these decisions? Because in the States, that's the traditional thing that they do, right? Governors like file injunctions in the court for mask mandates that get overturned and they have to go to the Supreme Court, but there's a long wait. And the moment it happens, then everyone can do it. In Canada, our system is so bogged down in bureaucracy that this opinion that was written isn't going to really see the light day until the Supreme Court looks at it.
so we need to remember that that bill was introduced in 2018.
Yeah.
It passed. So in 2018, the bill was introduced. 2019, it passed through the Senate and got royal assent a little bit after that.
And we
The
fought
bill
an
is
election
good.
on it.
Yeah, but my question is, why now? Why not 2 years ago? Like, because we're seeing, so Bill 69 is extremely complicated. So before, the NEB was taking more in consideration the environmental impact of a very specific project. Now, with Bill 69, there's another layer to it, which takes in consideration the human impact, if you want. So let's say they gotta do a dam somewhere and they need to use concrete, but they gotta destroy concrete. There's gonna be, debris from there. It's going to be sent to the municipal dump. Well, there's a cost to that. There's a cost to the individuals living in the area to that. Where they're also taking consideration. So that's the piece I think it's quite interesting, is that before a project is being, approved, they're taking consideration First Nations. First Nations are major stakeholders, and it's interesting to see, with ceded and unceded land, with the traditional, the elected chiefs and the hereditary chiefs, like kind of what we're seeing, the problems with Trans Mountain right now, it take those aspects in consideration as well. it takes an aspects, well, okay, that construction project, what are going to be the green gas emission on this one? What, you know, there's more, sorry, my kids friend aren't calling her and it rings on my phone, because kids messenger is a parent thing, but no, so there's much more homework being done before approving. It can take up to 6 months extra before they are not, because it's not solely an environmental assessment as right now. It's a social assessment of how will it impact the community? Will the community be impacted in a positive manner or a negative manner? So it gives more, so when KXL was approved, not KXL, sorry, Trans Mountain was approved, Bill's C-69 as we know it right now was not law of the land. So there's a lot of territories that were conceded, and there was a lot of issues, and we're still dealing with them to this day.
Yeah.
Is it a bad thing? I don't think so.
Do you think? I don't know how the Supreme Court's going to rule on it because they've already said
Oh, they're gonna shut down
the
the
appeal.
Alberta. Yeah,
You think is? And I get back to this.
they're
I get back to this.
they're gonna go in
Go
favor
ahead.
of the federal government. They're gonna go in favor, just like they did for the carbon tax.
At what point in time does Jason Kenney just have to roll over and say, "Okay, I can't win against Justin Trudeau in the courts. I have to go win somehow other way." At what point in time is that? Because he's filing an injunction in the Emergencies Act court filing, or he wants to be an observer, so he's going in there. He's taking them on C-69. He's taking them on another bill as well around pipelines. What time does Jason Kenney have to just say, okay, enough's enough? I need to take him on somehow else, and I need to get involved federally? Or is this just what it's going to be for the next year and a half of him just yelling at the sky and hopefully something will happen?
I have an image of Abraham Simpson right now, the old man yelling at the clouds. I think he is extremely vindicative right now. Anything that the government will do that sees could be a very little obstacle to the oil and gas industry, or could, slightly inconvenience Alberta, is going to take it to the courts. There's a lot of ideology also, and it's extremely different between the liberals and the conservatives here. But, at the end of the day, if we can try as Albertans to still build those projects, but try to do things better and maybe help into transitioning into greener projects. We're talking a lot about that transition period, that transition energy. It's going to happen soon. And there's one thing Alberta does not want to miss the boat, because it will be the next economic boom in the province. I absolutely believe that we can do things better. Carbon capture, methane capture, there's a lot of things that we can do. We can still do those projects, but we need to sit down and table and be like, okay, traditional is not cool anymore. What do we do? How can we make it better? Of course, the premier is going to go fight for Albertans' interest. Of course, 100%. But I feel like they've been taking them to court quite a bit these days. Like, really, on the Emergency Act, downtown Ottawa was besieged for what, a month?
Coots
Like,
Border was blocked for 3 weeks. Windsor
and
was
it
blocked
was,
for a week.
yeah, it's at some point you're gonna ask yourself if it's performative, grandstanding, or looking into the best interest of the province. So, but I think that we really just need to sit down as a collective and be like, okay, this is a challenge we're going to be facing next 10 years. How do we do it better? And we need to stop suing right, left, and center. It's like a divorce court in there. It's, affidavit after affidavit, and always come back. He's going to have to top up his lawyer retainer pretty quick.
Yeah,
That's my opinion.
my I don't know what the end goal is here. And that's what I've always tried to figure out. What's the end goal for all these lawsuits, right? Okay, you want to be an intervener for the Emergencies Act court case. What does that give us? What does that
Nothing,
get?
because everybody was against those blockades except 5% of the population.
Exactly.
He is pending the guy. So we need to remember the guy is in a leadership review right now. The guy is walking to his last year of his first term of premiership. So the guy is going to do anything he can to try and go grasp the base, right?
Yeah.
To him, it's extremely important. So because we're seeing with the Wild Rose Independence Party, we're seeing there's more outcasts, different parties being created. And he knows that if he doesn't have that being vindictive or, fighting for the province, he could lose those votes. Because right now, yelling Trudeau bad doesn't work anymore. It's not, that strategy is not working, so it's trying to move on to the next. But really, I think we should just do better.
I agree wholeheartedly. You mentioned it. Let's talk about it for the last few seconds here before we wrap up. And that is 1 week. 1 week from, well, actually less than 1 week, 6 days. 6 days from today, we will know if Jason Kenney's premiership is coming to an end, if there's going to be a leadership race, or if he lives to fight another day, or the fourth option, he lives to fight another day with a split on the right-wing conservative vote and a new party form.
Or fifth option, he lives to live a snap election.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Or sixth, he becomes a dictator and he just doesn't do anything, and he rules with an iron fist for the next 5 years, 50 years of his life.
A charcoal fist.
The last few days, social media has been abuzz with the idea that this election is being stolen right in front of our faces. People are getting 2 ballots. People are getting double. People who didn't take out memberships are getting ballots that they did not request. The idea that these votings are going to be happening on a live stream counting are getting people upset. If they don't clear up the next 6 days, all these issues of what's going on, who actually can vote, of the 54,000 members, how many of them actually bought memberships and how many just randomly were reassigned a membership or whatever, what does Jason Kenney and the UCP need to do to get through the next 6 days unified?
I've been hearing some pretty crazy rumors this week.
Well, this is the perfect time to talk about rumors on the cross-border internet.
There's rumors I need to sit on the side and just, get a few more confirmation.
Give me Morse code. Boop, 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 boop. There you go. Oh, yes. I can't believe that person said that thing on that time that they did it.
Right? But if Kenney, I'm not expecting Kenney to have a 85 to 90%. I expect him to be around 55, between 55 and 64%. That's my target.
Okay.
But the real issue is not if Kenney will win his leadership. The real issue is how will caucus react if he wins with a low margin? Because we all remember Redford, who resigned for way, way, way less than, everything that we've been facing with this government for the past few years.
She won her review with 70%, if I'm not mistaken.
78.
78. Yeah. And then, a year later, went, okay, bye, guys. I'm sorry I took my daughter to Nelson Mandela's funeral. I'm sorry I drank bubbly in the Sky Palace. I'm sorry I did this, that, and the other.
You know what I miss is when, Bevo does $16 orange juice glass was the biggest scandal in politics.
I think it was you. I think I actually said this to you. No one mentioned anything because that's how bad my tweets go. But I said, imagine if Bev Oda didn't resign after that $16 orange juice.
Yeah.
Aaron
Yeah.
O'Toole would not have been leader. He would not
Yeah.
have. He wouldn't have run in Durham. He would not have been leader in the 2017 leadership candidate in 2017. Maxime Bernier could have been leader because Aaron O'Toole's people would not.
No, 2017. No, 2017 was Scheer.
That's what I mean. But Aaron O'Toole was in that debate. He was in
Oh,
that.
was he?
Yeah, he came third. So if he wasn't in it, we would have had someone else.
I remember. There's so many people running.
So I'm not blaming the troubles the Conservatives are having on like Aaron O'Toole, Aaron Scheer. I'm blaming them on Bev Oda. Putting that out there right now.
I miss Bev. She was sitting outside the Parliament with her cigarettes. It was glorious. I really missed those days.
I remember all the jokes of Roy Orbison. That's what she looked like in all the photos of her and her cigarette. That was the running joke in Durham. And I lived in Durham during this time, and we were working in a newspaper, and that's the only thing that was making the rounds at the time was...
I remember her saying her cigarette was just like... I still remember Bev on the...
Bev is awesome. I miss Bev. I should call her up and see if she wants to come on the show.
Yeah. I don't know what she's up to these days.
She lives in Orono, Ontario. I have a friend who goes and sees her on a weekly basis. They are good friends. Talk about people who are from political opposite parties. The Green Party candidate for Durham during her Bev Oda's last election, and Bev Oda, good friends.
I'm going to anger a lot of people right now, but Greens are conservatives with solar panels. I'm sorry.
Well, I've just lost any chance of getting any Green candidate. I joke. We'd love to have you all.
No, but they have some. If you look at their social policies, like social women's health and all that, it's way closer from. And it's one of my good friends. I gave that one, but I can't tell her name because I'm gonna get her in trouble. But
I know said friend.
My husband just sent me a picture of Bev Oda smoking.
I think there was a big this is how bad we're getting off topic here. I remember the Toyota song, or it wasn't Toyota. It was they kept on saying Bev Oda. That's what we sang all the time. Every time that she had an event, like all the journalists in Clarington, Ontario, we'd go Bev Oda. That's all we would sing, just over and over again in our head, because that's what we do in Clarington, Ontario. God bless her. I love Bev Oda. She's an awesome person. I really do miss her.
Yeah, she was awesome. Yeah, she was great. Loved her. Even had a few cigarettes with her back.
Aww.
That was small. Aww. But no, so Kenny's leadership, he's gonna win. We know that.
But
the camera, it's like,
what if he doesn't? What if he doesn't win?
Well, then I'm going to be so confused. Like, to me, so there's that political analyst that's like, there's no way you can win this. There's no way. There's too many angry people. Like, a lot of people bought UCP memberships just to get rid of him. But there's the conservative Sarah that says, well, no, but it's Jason Kenney. And he's going to
I don't think he's not going to win. I don't think he's not going to win. I just, there's always that 0.1% of me that says, but what if? What if that happens?
Yeah. Oh, no. You're right.
Like, if it does happen, let's hypothetically number one here, because the next time we're chatting is after the 18th, or on the 18th if you're coming on the live show of that. But on the if he doesn't win, the UCP are done, aren't they? Do they have to?
They're be splitting within 30 days.
Do they go back to the Wild Rose and the Progressive Conservatives?
Who knows? Who knows? Because there's so many things happening in the background right now, and but I'm seeing, no matter what, I am seeing a split coming.
I think that's the ultimate, and that's the end game for, we talk about those 6 options, but the end game is the unified party of the Conservative is no longer going to be there after Wednesday, is it?
It's extremely hard. Ouch! Sorry, my cat is clawing my foot. Um, my life is so glamorous. But it's extremely to unify such a broad conservative crowd when you go from the Dan Williams and the Getsons and the Angela Pitt to the Richard Gottfried and the Schweitzers and the more PCs here. The more PC one, the more like moderate one, if you would like to. It's extremely difficult to reconcile. And Jason Kenney is a good organizer, but I don't think he has he's running out of batteries to keep the caucus united. He's running out of glue. Like I like to say, he's running out of glue to keep his caucus together. So it's either the province kicks him out or the caucus gets really upset if he survives.
So you're saying that he's getting between 55 and 64. That's your rough estimate. I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic. I'm going to say he's getting between about, I want to say 60 and about 70, because I think he's going to get in the high 60s, potentially even like into the 70s, but I'm saying 60 to 70. I know I'm getting the evil glare for anyone who's listening to this afterwards. Basically, this is a good friendship bet right here, right now. But the question that I really want to know is, what's the turnout rate? Because you've sold 55,000 memberships. I'm air quoting this for anyone who's listening to this. You've sold 55,000 memberships.
Over 85%.
You think it's going to be over 85?
Because we need to remember that a lot of those memberships that have been purchased, a lot of people are so tired of Jason Kenney that they don't want to wait until the 2023 election. They took the matter into their own hands, purchased the UCP membership, and decided to vote him out now.
And I think
we need to remember that.
And I think this is where you and I will disagree. I don't think it's going to be higher than 65%. I think it's going to be a very low turnout because the thing is, and you've been around the block when it comes to elections, pissed off people vote.
Mm-hmm.
People who are okay with what's happening don't. So
but the thing is that you need to remember, he managed to piss off the left, he managed to piss off the centrists, and he managed to piss off the far right. Pardon my language.
He didn't piss
my mother-in-law.
He didn't piss Tyler Shander off.
Well, he has his tight circle.
There you go. But we will see. May 18th, from 4 to 6. Yeah, we're supposed to expect. Yeah. We're expecting the results to be announced between 4 and 6 p.m. unless Sarah's about to give me some late breaking scoop. But I was told via CBC and CTV that it was between 4 and 6. Sarah, is that wrong?
No. I'm waiting on the confirmation on the venue.
You think it's going to be?
Might be. There might be an event.
You think it's going to be Calgary?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I'm hearing. We shall see. Like everything's up in the air, and like the thing is that I was discussing with a few people, and we're talking about next week what we're gonna do and all that, and then we're like, well, he's going to DC. We're trying to figure out when, because there was a chance that he would have been in DC on the 18th. Speaking on the 18th, so today we got confirmation that. I knew he was going. We just didn't know if it was the 17th or the 18th. So let's see how they are planning on, because I think they have a pretty good idea of how the vote's going to be turning in.
Yeah, and most people would in this situation, right? But we will be live on the 18th after the leadership announcement is made. So please tune in. We have some great guests who are coming in to some political commentary. Yes, it's not just going to be me for like the leaders debate for the Ontario leaders debate 2 days ago. But hey, you guys liked it, so I will try it again. I thought all the negative hate comments, but after today's episode, people seem to like it. So I'm going to do it again from time to time. But Sarah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. This has been an honor and a pleasure as
Sorry if I
all.
look tired today.
Now,
It's been
girl, you've
my
been
child. My child decided to, FaceTime me at 7 o'clock this morning because she was walking to the bus stop. But her bus stop doesn't. I think it was 20 after 7. She called me. She FaceTimed me, but her bus doesn't show up until 8.
but she loves you. That's all that matters.
Eager beaver.
Eager beaver catches the worm. I know that makes no sense. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We will be back next week. This has been Point of Order on the Cross Border Interviews with Chris Brown and Sara Biggs. We will be back next week. And remember, next Wednesday, we will be having our great episode with the CEO of the Prevention Loss. I forget the name of the organization. It's off the top of my head. Sarah,
Pregnancy and Loss Support Center.
there you go. Tune in next week. Talk to you later, guys. See you then.